We are here at Kleysen Group with Benson, who is the manager of yard services. Hi, Benson.
Hello.
He's going to tell us a little bit about the performance of Resolute Rubber blades this season, this winter, for his snow removal. So how many acres of snow, or how many hours do you figure you put in a season?
We probably do, with our box blade that we use the rubber edge on it, we probably did between 25 to 30 acres, which is our corporate office. That's all whole yards. And hours on that blade that we put on there is probably having about 300 to 350 hours on that blade, and we have not adjusted it.
So, just to be clear, you haven't changed your blade, you haven't flipped it, you haven't dropped it, you haven't...
From the time we got it from Resolute, we put it on, put it to work. We haven't adjusted it, we haven't flipped it, it's nothing. It's just the way it was 300 hours ago.
Great. And so, what happens when it takes a big hit? How does it perform?
We found in the competition blades, if during the cold weather, which in Manitoba we have at 40 below, the cold weather itself would actually cause the rubber to get strong, or tougher, and anything in the ground that doesn't want to move. We've actually ripped two of our competitors' blades with that same process. With Resolute Rubber blades we've put on, and we did actually hit something this year in the ground, which it happens. It actually bent a 1/4-inch steel plate, but the rubber had no mark on it, so it's still on. We haven't even taken the bent plate off because we just left it on there to see how long it would go with the rubber still there. So
it's protecting you at the same time.
Exactly.
So tell us about operation with the Resolute Rubber blade. Do you have to do a do-over sweep, or are you...
No. One thing we were worried about with the smaller pieces was leftovers with the seams. What we did is, when we installed it, we made sure the pieces were tight together, bolted them down, and made sure they were tightly bolted, and we've never had any seam leakage at all. One thing we found with the Resolute blade, we go over the ground once, and it's once only. We don't have to go back and do any cleanup after that.
Great.
So that's one of the worries that we beat, and the Resolute Rubber was worried about too, and that's one thing they don't have to worry about now, as long as they're installed properly.
Right. So I think you were working with 2 5-foot pieces and 1 4-foot, you figured?
Yes, 4 14-foot box blade.
And installation, how'd that go?
It was actually faster and quicker on the smaller pieces because one guy could do the installation, versus with a 14-foot blade, it used to take 3 guys to kind of hangle it in and get it all bolted, where my millwright did the whole installation in himself in like probably half the time.
Tell me a little bit about pricing. You don't have to throw out numbers, but...
Compared to the blade that we used to use, the blade that we priced out through Resolute Rubber, it was half the price. But I figured with the amount of hours we put on this blade and the hits it take this year, and we haven't adjusted it, I'm actually going to be about 25% of the cost of what I used to pay on my blades.
That's unbelievable. So what would you tell someone who's on the fence, thinking about Resolute Rubber, but afraid to take the chance?
Well, if it's only going to cost you 25% of your old blade, it's well worth the chance. You can waste a lot more money other places. So yeah, take a chance and work on it. I can vouch for it for what our application does for it. I would have no
Which
problems.
is what?
Which is snow clearing, parking lots, asphalt. We use ours on gravel too, which actually rips up the other competitors' blades faster. And we'd have no problems with this year. And I've had about 4 or 5 operators on that machine, and they all said the Resolute Red blade was better than the one they had on there before.